grab your controllers and put on your headsets and turn on your consoles because this is the Ready Player Pete Show! Hello everyone, and welcome to the Ready Player Pete Show. And before I start this video, I feel before I start this video, feel free how do you think about the characters in my first video, The Walking Dead Season 1, on my previous video. If you like what you think about the characters when I made in the first one of part 1. and now in this continue The Walking Dead games character review is The Walking Dead The Walking Dead Season 2. And now let's get started. The first we'll start on the like list is number 1 is Clementine. Clementine, she's still a nice and sweet, kind-hearted little girl. Now she used to be 8 years old at the season 1, and now she's moved on to now in the season 2 that she's still alive, and now she's 11. But she still has spirited, and she has more adventures to continue on. She still learned the lessons that Lee taught her how to survive in the first season, and she still got more lessons when she continue on, when she meets new other characters when she continue on her journey. But then, yeah, I'm glad she still survived. Glad you're alive, Clem. And number 2 is Omid. That we last saw Omid, and we last saw when last saw him in the first one when he's still alive. But he is a good man. But because he's like I say, he's always happy to see everybody. But in the second season, he's still alive in the beginning. But the saddest thing is about him that in the second season, that when Clem is in the restroom, and then suddenly this girl comes in, and then he takes the gun, and then when Omid is trying to sneak up and trying to help Clem, and then suddenly when the restroom door closes, and then she turn around, and then she shot Omid, but she doesn't mean to. But suddenly, then after that, when Omid touches his chest right here when it's bleeding out of his chest, when then he kneeled down on the floor, and he's dead. We will miss you, Omid. You're a good man, and you always be happy, and you're always very supportive. And number 3 on the like is Krista. She's still alive, ever since in the first season. But she's now alive in the beginning episode of season 2. But she's about to have a baby on the way. But in the beginning episode of season 2. But when she heard the gunshot, then right at the first episode of the season 2, that she sees that girl that she said she didn't mean to, that she shot Omid, but when and then suddenly Krista doesn't even care. She just shot her anyway. To taught her a big lesson, because it's bye. That is for shouting on me that she doesn't mean to, but yeah. And for the next on the like is number 4 is Luke. You see, Luke. He's a very nice, kind guy, and he always knows how to cheer everyone up because he's very brave and he's adventurous, and he always fully 100% support Clementine because I'm really glad for him he cheering on Clementine and giving a lot of support because somehow who's too rough on Clem when he brings them to his group and suddenly whenever the situation calls for it, he always be there for Clem because when he gives food to Clem when her arm is all patched up, I'm glad he give the food to Clem and see the look on Clem's face. He smiled at Luke. Luke is a good guy. He's a nice guy, very supportive. Way to go, Luke. And number 5, we all know this guy, but he's the same name as me. And this on the like list is Pete. It is the same. His name is same as mine. You see, Pete is a nice guy, like myself, and he's also an uncle to his own nephew Nick, because he's also 100% supportive. Like he in the middle of the woods, he wants to help Clementine, and he's a whole lot of a 100% nice guy. He's a very kind. And he always likes to help out because he don't want to leave Clementine in the middle of the woods, and he don't want Rebecca to start off that she doesn't trust her still with Clem, but like she just don't want her to start, but he wants everyone to calm down and everything like that. But Pete is still good. Is a good guy, but he's like really kind and all because when he always want to protect Clem no matter what when he first met her. But yeah, Pete is really a good guy. And now next on the list is Alvin. He's the husband of Rebecca. He's a nice guy and he's very helpful, but he said he wants to help Clem to patch her up her arm because it must have hurt when she got bit by a dog. But Rebecca told Alvin to do not help, but Alvin was like, yeah, we cannot do nothing But Alvin was trying to help, but he does want to help Clem, but Rebecca doesn't want him to. But a good thing he give him a little something to help her out. But he's give Clem a juice box and giving her some bandages so Clem can sew her arm. But he knows how to make things right for Clem, and also he's still having a little bit of a struggle with his own wife Rebecca, like her and their baby, and there's something like that, because they're about to have a child on the way, because it's kind of like a struggle, but Alvin always did his best. And the next on the like list is Kenny's new love of his other girl named Sarita. Sarita, she's a very kind woman, and she's a very big heart, and she always be so very wants to keep a whole group in place, not using, because she doesn't like violence when it comes to kill one of them in the group, and she just having she has a teeny bit quite a struggle about what Kenny gets angry any other way, because when Kenny gets angry any other way, but she understands that Kenny is doing the right thing, but But when it turned out to be a little bit wrong. But she doesn't want Kenny to do this. He wants to do what's right for the group. But as that for result. But as a result, when ever since when she's been taken by this when she's been taken back to the cabin and no, not the cabin. Sorry, at the lodge. She's been taken by Carver and put her down on her knees with the rest of the group, and she doesn't want to get shot by Carver and anyone else in the group. But we'll get to Carver later on the villains list. But yeah, Sarita's a really nice woman, but she's one of a kind. And last on the list is we all know this guy from the season 1, named Lee. We all know Lee from the first season, but he is dead in the end of the season in the final episodes of episode 5 in the season 1. But Lee is still there in Clem's memory. But every time when Clementine falls asleep, and when she's feeling tired, she's keep on thinking about Lee throughout every each episode, because whatever any of the lessons that Lee wants to teach her, that she wants to know more about what Lee wants to show. Because Lee is really a great guy and a good mentor to Clem, a very good father figure. But we're all gonna miss him, because he's really a great guy when he got bitten by a walker in the first season. But don't you worry, Clem. Lee is always there, right in your own heart. And now, moving on to the next list is the neutral characters. The number 1 is Nick. Nick is the guy he's a nephew of Pete. That he is a bit of a struggle guy that he don't want to support in the first episode, because whatever it is, when he sees Clem's bite on the arm, but it's a dog bite, not a zombie bite, because when he says, "This isn't how we do things, man. When you get bit, you get put down. End of story. I'm not going through this again." But Nick, he's probably not even thinking straight when he killed Matthew right on the bridge, and then he thinks that he's trying to kill his friends. But the good thing about him, that he apologized to Clem, that he's kind of bit out of hand with Clem. But he apologized to her, that he almost shot her and thought it was that she's gonna turn and such. But because all about his past is he don't want to get through with it, because Nick lost his mom, because that's why he don't want to get through it again throughout his past. And now next is on the neutral is Rebecca. Rebecca is a wife of Alvin, and she has a baby in her belly, but somehow only in this episode 1 in season 2, she has trust issues. She has trust issues ever since when Luke and Pete brings Clem to the cabin, to the group, and she's having some trust issues when she first met Clem, and then she thought that when she look at the bite, it is a dog bite, but it's not a dog bite, but she thinks she still is like a zombie bite, and then but she still probably wouldn't care and not feel welcome to the group. But in the dinner, when Pete and Luke walk away, Rebecca comes into the kitchen, and while Clem continues eating it, and then when she says to Clem, when she's washing her hands in the sink, when she says, "I wouldn't be too comfortable if I were you. Maybe you fool everyone else, but not me." Because it sounds like she's being totally rude. And because she said she's not like her husband, because what I choose to say to Rebecca is that you should watch your language if you're going to be a mom, because because she just needs some help. Well, you got it. Now go. And then but long story short, she'll say, and she said the last thing she said to Clem, I knew you're gonna be a little problem. And then after that, she walked away. And then next is Carlos, that's Sarah's father. He's a doctor. But what is neutral about him that he's not supported and helping, but only in the first episode, he's a doctor, but he don't want to help out with Clem's bites because when he got bitten by a dog, because he don't want to waste his medical supplies because he's a little short on supplies. Because he's a little short on some medical supplies because he's become a useless, unhelpful father and also a doctor that he didn't want to help out with his medical supplies. But Clem's hurt, man. Come on, help her out. Help her out. You're a doctor. If there's more medical supplies out there to scavenge, she needs to be clean her arm and stitch and bandage. And also to Carlos, she needs to train her daughter. She needs to train her daughter to prepare how to survive, help her stay alive to fight against the zombie apocalypse. I mean, come on. What kind of father is he? And also a doctor. Yeah. And next on the neutral list, I know he's on the like in the first season on my previous video, but we all know this guy that he came back that we thought he's dead. His name is Kenny. Kenny, he's a great guy, really nice, really kind, but the thing is about him that his plan changes. He gets angry, self-esteem, loses himself, and he also bit of a struggle when whoever disagrees or agrees with his plan, but mostly when everybody disagrees his plan to move it up north to find Wellington, because this is a safe place, but everyone disagrees to go to Wellington against him because they want to go different places somewhere better than Wellington, because Kenny still keeps on disagreeing and arguing with the group when he wants to continue on moving to Wellington because that is a safe place there. But somehow Kenny is a bit brutal that he really loses self-esteem when he's fighting Jane, and also he fights beating up Carver, and when Carver beats him up. But Kenny needs to calm down a bit, but I know he's gonna lose his temper on it, but he needs to calm down. And for this, his name is Mike. He wants to talk through with it because he's a bit of been disagreement with Kenny's plan, because he wants to go with Bonnie to go somewhere places much more better, to steal the truck and then go play someplace better more than Wellington, and they just abandoned him because they don't like Kenny much, because Kenny is much more of an anger-tempered man, because he probably wants to proceed his plan to Wellington, but he just probably likes to self-respect with Clem, he was loyalty a little bit, but now he's probably wants to get away from Kenny. When what he did to Arvo. But we'll get to Arvo in a minute in the villains. But for Mike, he's just good riddance for him that they left him when Kenny and Jane find out that when him and Bonnie probably they know what Clem knows what they're up to. And the last on the neutral list is named Jane. I really like Jane because I really do like her because she's really a nice woman, and she's really smart too when she knows how to get through walkers. Like same thing like Clementine sees Lee did it, like in season 1, but Lee figured that out. But Jane, she's quite of a bit of a stubborn one, because she's a bit of a stubborn, keeps thinking about for herself, and also asking a question about what is he's gonna do, what is Rebecca gonna do with that baby, like what Rebecca's baby, like it's gonna be like, I don't know, she's a bit nervous or scared about it, or she don't want to probably she don't want to give it a try if she wants to. She don't want to give it a try, but Clem would ask her to try to hold the baby, but Jane, she is much more adventurous, and she's way too far to push Kenny over, because she's pushed Kenny over way too far when she's going deep inside into Kenny's head to make him more anger after Sarita's death. But she's pushing way too far. But does she really have to push Kenny's buttons over it? I mean, come on, Jane, you need to quit it. Get along with Kenny pretty well, and not to go over this anger of self-esteem inside Kenny's head. You don't want to mess with him when he's driving. I mean, come on. This is being like a childish argument. Now, next on the list is not prepared. The only thing is not prepared character is, oh boy, it's Carlos's daughter named Sarah. Sarah is a daughter of Carlos. She's probably is afraid, scared, and nervous nervous girl, but she's always afraid. And why Carlos haven't trained her to prepare herself to survive? I mean, like, what kind of a father cannot teach her how to survive, like how to use a gun? And then suddenly Sarah has a biggest fear. A biggest fear that she probably is walkers is coming, and then suddenly when she sees Carver, and suddenly she's worried about her dad she's worried about her dad named Dad Carlos, not getting punched in the face. But he's getting punched in the face, and then she just come up to her dad Carlos, and then she don't want Carlos to hurt him. And then afterwards, she's just not stood up for everything. And after Carlos died, she just lost it. She's just scared, and then she wants her dad back, but it's not gonna happen. He died by the herd of walkers. And then at the end, her worst fear come true. After the observation deck collapsed, then when I told Jane to go save her, then that's the end of Sarah. She's not. That is a way a lot way of true of her fear come true. She needs to be prepared, Carlos. Come on. And now for the villains. His name is Arvo. Arvo, he's a guy with glasses. That his plot is probably that he wants to take all the Clementine's all their weapons and all their supplies, because turned out to be when Jane threatens him to put why did he put the medicine stash and trying to put it in the garbage, but we need those for Luke and Rebecca, but as for that, throughout the whole thing, that Arvo, his plot is that Kenny is being too rough on Arvo, but it's something because he got suspicions on Arvo because it's all his fault that he made Luke die because the ice is about to crack in the middle of the lake to get to the lodge, and then suddenly the last part of Arvo that he wants to drive away, and then he shot Clem right on the shoulder. But now it's the last thing that I know to see what happened to Arvo, but yeah. But now Next is we is the on the villains is Troy. Troy, he's a second in command of henchmen, loyalty to Carver. He's much worse. He's much worse than in Carver's camp, because if you don't do it if you don't do what Carver says, then Troy will do it for you. If you don't want Troy to do it for you, then he will make it worse. Because Carver will do something bad and Troy is worse, because he is definitely on top. I hate it when he knocks out Clem, when Clem's trying to help Kenny, when Carver beats Kenny up with the radio, and Troy is grabbing Clem, and then he wants to toss him back outside out of the comic book store at the camp. I mean, yeah, Troy kicked Clem to wake up, and when Carver's about to say something, but yeah, Troy is already a top henchman. And the last but not least on the villains is the villain of within. His name is William Bill Carver. I gotta hand it to you. He is the very good villain. Very good villain. He's very evil, much more evil than the Stranger in the first season of The Walking Dead. Because William Bill Carver, he is the very greatest villain of all time. Because my favorite part about him, when he's in his office having to talk with Clementine, then he's looking eye to eye to Clem, is like between the good side with Clem and the bad side with Carver. But the thing is, when he punched Kenny in the eye with the radio, that is very brutal of him. And crack Carlos's fingers, and also shoot Walter in the head when Kenny shot Johnny, his own henchman. And everything is so brutal. And also he told Carlos to slap his own daughter Sarah. And then he tossed Reggie off the roof of his camp. How evil is that? Carver, you're really a brilliant villain, but I'm going to give it 100%. Way to go, Carver. But suddenly, at the end of that third episode, bye-bye Carver, because Kenny has got his revenge back, and for the group. That is for Clem and the whole group. And only one. And the one on this list on the not appreciate is Bonnie. She's from the special episode from the season 1 of The Walking Dead, but what she's not appreciate about what Bonnie does not appreciate is that Carver's doings. But she's not even appreciating. She's one of a kind, but very nice woman, but she's not even that much of a henchman that she doesn't want to be. She just wants the truth and questions and answers to what Carver what is Carver hiding. But once Clementine talks sense and will tell the truth about Carver, she will finally understands, and then suddenly throughout the whole thing, Bonnie will help them escape. But the good thing about Bonnie, what I like about her, is that it's a good thing she told Carver to break it up. Enough beating up Kenny with the radio. He had enough. But thank you, Bonnie. Now you're gonna help them escape. Then you're all good alongside with us. And now for last but not least, for the return from season 1 characters. We all know Vince. We all know Vince from the special episode from the season 1. We all know him when he's in the prison bus when he's along with the other prisoners and stuff like that. But we all know him. And we also know Tavia. That she meet up with the other survivors and they go and rescue them and take them back to their camp and make their lives start all over and help them out to see if they can find their friends and family. And also Wyatt. We also know Wyatt when he's separated by Eddie or or Eddie is separated by him because somebody is after them. Because because suddenly they're in the middle of Eddie's middle of the woods, and Wyatt drives and he drives away, but he don't want to leave Eddie behind, and Eddie don't want to leave Wyatt behind. But somebody's after them, and one of them has to leave. But there's no other choice. They don't want to leave each other behind. And as for Russell, he's we all know him when he's in the open road, that he's walking on their own, and then when he first met someone on the road, and then he gives him a lift to his Graham's house, and because that's probably when he joined Carver and also the rest of them. And as for Shell, we all know her from that episode. She's a sister of Becca, because she's a very kind sister and kind woman. But she's always supported Becca, and she always trying her best to protect her own sister Becca. Ever since they want to be part of take Tavia's offer and go back to their group. And last but not least, her Shell's sister is Becca. What I like about Becca, she's plays the guitar very well, very well, and then she knows to play guitar. And ever since when she wants to join in with a new life together, if they want to move on to another place, ever since when they want to kill Stephanie, or for a stolen bag of supplies and medicine, trying to escape, but I choose to drive away, but to a better place for Becca. So yeah, so this is all for today. Press like, subscribe, and notifications in your comments down below. And I'm Pete, and stay tuned for next continue of the Walking Dead season games on the character reviews, and I'll see you on the next level on the Ready Player Pete show, and we'll see until the next game of The Walking Dead: The New Frontier.